Please welcome Championing the Sportsverse, reaching fans across platforms. Moderated by Randie Brooks, SVP and Team Leader, Entertainment and Sports Banking, City National Bank.
Hi, thank you. Wonderful to be here. I am joined today by our esteemed guests here. Tina Thornton, Executive Vice President, Creative Studio and Marketing for ESPN. And Mina Kimes, NFL analyst, senior writer, podcast host, and television contributor for ESPN. So welcome, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So to get started, I'd love for each of you, can you talk a little bit about your roles at ESPN and how they are evolving to connect to modern sports, fans, and audiences?
You want to start first? Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here today. Thank you for being with us. As Randie said, my name's Tina Thornton, and I oversee marketing as well as our corporate responsibility team and our creative studio. And what that means is essentially I am in charge of our everything from brand campaigns to media strategy to the design around our storytelling, whether it's through content or product or branded content or via ad sales, or through our marketing. And so it's just been an exciting opportunity. I've been at the company for over 30 years. In August, it'll be 32 years with ESPN. Amazing. In a variety of different roles. And so I've touched on everything, from content to operations to creative, and now marketing. And what I would say is, as having been at the company for over 30 years, it's really a pivotal moment in time for us. And we are in, the midst of wanting to meet those modern sports fans. And at the same time, it's an evolution of our brand. And we're really excited about it because there's just so much that we can do. And ESPN is not just a destination anymore. We want it to be an experience. And so what we're doing, in launching our enhanced app this fall is about that experience in order to meet modern sports fans where they are.
I love that.
So I have done just about every job possible in content at ESPN over the last 11 years now. I think I just got my pin recently for doing 10 years. I joined the company as a writer, a journalist. I was a long-form writer for ESPN, the magazine, and a columnist. Then I started doing radio. I was on some of our radio shows. I started podcasting over 7 or 8 years ago. I launched my show, the Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, which is a football show. Lenny is my dog. He's still the co-host of my show. And then I started doing television. I started appearing on shows to talk about my stories, but then also as a panelist and opinionator on shows like Around the Horn, Sports Center, a show called Highly Questionable, that's not anymore, First Take. And then in, I think, 2020, so it's been 5 years, which is crazy, my job title changed again to NFL analyst, which basically means I get paid to give opinions about football on television, which I cannot believe is a sentence coming out of my mouth. It is insane that that's a job, but it's a job, and it's my job. The show that I'm primarily on is called NFL Live, which is our daily studio NFL show. But I still do all the other stuff, which used to be kind of unusual to wear, not unusual, but to be quote-unquote multi-platform in our industry was not something that everyone did, to wear a lot of hats. Now I would say it's the norm. It is something that everyone at our company does. Maybe not writing per se, but most people do a combination of television, different types of analysis, maybe hosting, podcasting, radio, et cetera. And I think that really plays into what we're going to talk about today, which is the app and direct-to-consumer, because we have so many different platforms, or ways, to reach sports fans.
That's amazing, yeah. So what do you think sports fans want the most now out of their sports and viewing experiences?
I'll start. Sure. Look, sports fans are evolving. My 18-year-old daughter views sports far differently than I ever did. Growing up, and even different than I do now. But I believe sports fans want personalization. They want to be able to follow their favorite athletes, their favorite teams, through a variety of means. They want depth of information, which Mina provides in all the shows that she does. They want access different types of access, whether it's miking up a player in a live game or access through what will be our enhanced features. That's some of the reasons. And then that we're launching the enhanced app. And then finally, to me, I think they want community. People want to be together. Sports does bring people together, and that's a real positive. And so that community is something that I think is important, that people want to talk about their sports and to share information, and it's the water cooler talk, if there's still a water cooler out there.
Yeah.
I think every sports fan wants something completely different. And that's not new, obviously, but the fact that they're able to get something different in a personalized experience, that's what's new. That's what's different from, even 5 years ago, but certainly 10 years ago when, it was just like, here's the set menu for the day. You're going to watch these shows if you want to hear people talk about sports, and that's it. Now it's a buffet. You can pick what you want. And that's something I feel very acutely, because whenever I meet fans and they come up to me to talk about my work, it's always something different. Fans who listen to my podcasts are huge football nerds, and they love scheme talk, and they love really complicated discussions, and they're really advanced viewers of the game. People who watch me on First Take love debate, and the question I get asked the most is Stephen A. really like that in real life? Probably about working at ESPN. The answer is yes. But that's a completely different fan base who wants something completely different out of sports. I have fans who come up to me and they don't even watch NFL Live. They'll just say, hey, I love that feature you reported on DeAndre Hopkins. It really moved me and my family. So I think that sort of diversification of the experience of being a sports fan and our ability to cater to those different desires is what's changing and so different now.
Mina was also a phone a friend on Jeopardy at one point in time, so go look that up at some point.
It's never ending. It's really nice and important, and also inclusive to be able to meet fans where they are, right? At any level, at any genre, whatever they're trying to accomplish, and then you guys bring that to them. It's fantastic. So you did mention, ESPN is launching this app in the fall. Why now? Why launch it now?
I just want to start by saying we are actually not launching a new app.
Oh.
It's okay.
Okay.
I want to just clarify
Yes,
it, because people do think we're launching a new app. We have an app. It's called the ESPN app, and in May, it delivered 27 million unique users. Think about that, 27 million. That's 8 times greater than the next competitor. 8 times greater. So we have this amazing app, right? What we're doing is twofold. Number one, we're actually taking and being able to sell our content directly to you as a fan, should you want to purchase it. And you will be able to purchase that content through 2 plans, in the ESPN app or through the Disney bundle on Disney Plus. So that's number one. The second thing we're doing is we're enhancing the app. So it's less about a new app. We're calling it all new, but it's more that it's an enhancement to what we're doing.
Right.
And that enhancement includes features, whether it's fantasy opportunities, commerce, sports betting will have an opportunity. There'll be some multi-view. There'll be some really fun features that, as a community, you'll be able to connect to the sports that you're watching. So, I just want to make sure that the language we're using, it is all new, but it's not a new app.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Enhanced.
and enhanced. And then you had a part 2 to that question. Sorry.
Well, I mean, why now?
Why now?
Yes.
Really now it's time, because we're at a inflection point where Mina said fans want different things. And in order to evolve with that and generate new fans and bring new fans to the table, we have to deliver on that. And so we have the technology to do it, and we're excited to bring that forward now.
So why not, right?
Yeah.
I'll just say I think something I get with my job is just sometimes people come up and say, where can I find your podcast on TV? Somebody showed me a screenshot and it was on ESPN News. I can't find it on my, at home. And everybody's generally always confused trying to find things now these days on television. So I think from my end, and when I talk to fans about trying to find my content, having all of that centralized and easy to search and easy to find is something that really appeals to people.
Yeah, the convenience is huge, especially if you're going to drive new viewers. Make it easy, right? Yeah. So for Tina, I know you talked a little bit about this, but what are some of the opportunities for ESPN to enhance the brand through this enhanced app.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Look, the way we're looking at it is a couple of ways. We have the technology to do this now, but we're using our brand campaigns to do that. We've got two that we're working on, one that's already launched and one that will come when we launch. Mm-hmm. And the one that is out in the marketplace right now is called Sports Forever. And if any of you have seen Sports Forever, it's a campaign that really touches on the love for the brand and the sports nostalgia that you feel, that you felt through the years, and ESPN's 40 plus years of existence, and how we want to take you into the future. Mm-hmm. So that's a campaign that we're using, to drive that forward, that message forward. The second campaign we're doing is all of ESPN all in one place. And if you think about it, that really rings true. All of ESPN, all of our content, all in one place. There's a centralization of that content, and then you're going to be able to control it. So content, centralization, and control, the 3 C's as the team is using, is important to us, and we're going to drive those types of things forward.
That's amazing. And how does that drive newer audiences? I mean, obviously the appeal is the convenience, but any other?
Yeah, look, as we've said, we're meeting fans where they are, mm-hmm. right? Actually, I don't know that we've said that. We're meeting fans where they are, mm-hmm. and it's important for us to do that, whether it's through technology, but we want to make a seamless experience that wherever people come in from, they will feel like they're a part of the brand and feel like they're part of ESPN and feel like they're getting what they want. Mm-hmm. So we're excited about it.
It sounds exciting. So Mina, from your perspective, how do you think the app's going to change your work as an analyst?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that come to mind. You said the word control in terms of kind of putting our viewers in the driver's seat. I think that's enormous because, as an NFL analyst, I make shows, content, podcasts, whatever, that are for all 32 teams. But I find that fans don't care about all 32 teams. And I think for them, having the ability to say, hey, I am a Baltimore Ravens fan, and I just kind of want to see you talk about Lamar Jackson, and I want to be able to search for that and seek it out and get a more customized version of my viewing. I want to find you did this podcast 2 years ago where you talked about why Lamar is underrated or something like that. I think having that ability for fans is really important, and it'll inform for me the kinds of things that I make, knowing that people can kind of customize their experience. But there's also the interactivity aspect mm-hmm. of it, which I think is really interesting and something that we're going to continue developing as we move forward. So something that I kind of like to say to myself, I guess, is that social media is not really social anymore, in my experience personally. As it's become more split up and everybody's on using different platforms and different apps, but also, frankly, toxic, there's not that same level of community in a lot of places. I love the idea of being able to engage with my fans in a place where they're seeking out my content. So it's not like it's been fed through an algorithm, spit out, and the people who are engaging don't even consume it. If you're on ESPN, you're looking for my stuff, you actually you want to watch it. You want to have conversations about football. You want to have fun talking about the sport. Mm-hmm. And I think spaces like that are the future for me. And we actually have to create them instead of leaning on third parties to create them for us. Yeah. So I love that potential in the future.
And sorry if you don't mind me adding, we talked about personalization earlier as well. And really, there's a feature that Jimmy Pitaro has talked about that's going to be on the enhanced app called SportsCenter for You, which is going to be really special. It's an AI-generated SportsCenter personalized to you. So every day, you'll be able to go on and see your personalized SportsCenter, which I think is going to be amazing.
That is really cool. You have the ability to interact a little bit more specifically, and then also to drive, again, more content that's relevant to the user.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Mina, you're covering the NFL for your podcast, and you across ESPN programming. So what is it about the football fans that makes them especially hungry for more content about their favorite players and teams?
Football fans, I think, are smarter than they've ever been, and more educated about the game, and are hungry for deeper, more detailed content about football. And that's the story of NFL Live, in my opinion, the show that I'm on. When we rebooted it 5 years ago, the premise, in addition to like having a cast that we really loved talking and spending time together, we were friends, was what if, you talk about meeting fans where we are, what if we just respected our fans like at a level maybe that they haven't been respected before? We can have high level conversations about football because people want that. And I think when you look at this app and sort of the proliferation, I suppose, of options, that is an option that a lot of fans want right now. They want detailed, in-depth conversations and analysis of their teams. They don't want cookie cutter, generic takes and programming. So I think that is something that I'm really excited about. Something that motivates me talking about the sport is knowing that, hey, we're actually catering to a fan base that is hungrier for higher quality content.
That's one of the things I love about your NFL Live. It really goes in, and for the novice or the expert, there's something for everyone in that. So it's really great. Do you have any recent examples of some of your like favorite interactions or?
Yeah, I mean, so the other thing about our show is like the people on the show are analysts. We generate a lot of the ideas for segments, and we are constantly in group chats talking about we should do something on this, and we do these roundtables every year that are like the nerdiest stuff. I wish ESPN, like people when think of ESPN, we got almost like thought of this way more. Like we'll have a group chat that said, let's talk about 21 personnel. And then they let us talk about it for 10 minutes on television. And those clips go viral. And if you ask people what goes viral and what does it take, nobody would ever say, and I think it's proof that, hey, like what if we actually didn't, cater to the fan everyone thinks exists? What if we actually allowed fans to show us they want this stuff, they want the high quality, they want the in-depth conversations? And we've done a few of those over the last few years that I'm super proud of.
Yeah, that's amazing. I guess this one's going to be for each of you, so whoever wants to jump in first. Why do you think that the media footprint for sports just keeps growing? I mean, it's at a time when studios are making less, obviously, traditional TV series and movies. What is it about sports that keeps it so popular among the brand audiences, the broad audiences?
Yeah. I'll just start by saying sports being live is really important. Yeah. When you engage live with something, it's fun, it's exciting, it's real, it's reality, and it just makes such a difference. So I think the live aspect of sports is one of the important pieces of that. Also, it reaches people and it becomes relevant. So for the reach and relevancy around live, I think is really important. And I think it will continue to be a cultural moment, or sports is really anchored in culture, if you think about it. And so I look at it as a cultural moment.
I mean, sports are the only last remaining monoculture, I guess outside of Love Island, maybe. Everybody watches Love Island.
I was gonna say that too.
Love Island, Taylor Swift, and sports. But I think that's a beautiful thing because, to your point, when live sports are happening, it's one of the few things that everybody's talking about it. And that's another, I think there's potential there social-wise for us to kind of tap into those conversations as they're happening. But it's also the thing where you can talk to anybody about it. I love television, but like the prestige shows I watch, chances are maybe like 1 out of 10 people have seen it. You just get into an Uber, you go to the airport, you have a conversation with someone at a bar, and chances are they can talk to you about Josh Allen being MVP and what they think of it. And that connectivity is like so lost in these times where everybody has such disparate interests and things are divisive on the internet and all that. That ability to connect with not just family and friends, which is a beautiful part of sports, but also strangers and new people, I think is what makes it so unique in these times.
Bringing community together, common interests, but also it's something to root for, right? When things are the world isn't so great and you have a lot of other things that are distracting you, this is an opportunity for everybody to come together and really
Or root against.
Right.
Yeah. Bonding over hating the Cowboys. I mean, ESPN's like built on that.
There's something for everyone.
Cowboys.
Jimmy's talked about this before, but he wants at some point to, on the enhanced app, to have a rivals mode. Oh, God. Because he is the biggest Yankees fan ever. And he said his second favorite team is anybody that's playing the Red Sox. Because he wants to see that other team win. And so at some point in time, I think there's going to be a rivals mode on the enhanced app.
That's so good.
I mean, brilliant. Yes, whatever brings us together, common goals. So just to kind of wrap it up, and we're going to give everybody a few extra minutes, but what excites you guys most about the future of ESPN? You guys each looking forward to accomplishing something next? Love to hear what's on the horizon.
I'm excited about transforming sports for the next generation of sports fans, right? And as I said, I have an 18-year-old. Mina has a 2-year-old. I'm sure when Mina's 2-year-old is 18, they'll be using different functionality and features than we're using today. And it's just fascinating to be a part of that transformation. And I've been at the company a long time, and I've seen some transformation, but to me, this is one of the biggest transformations that we've seen. So that's what I'm really excited about.
It is exciting.
I just think being a part of football content and finding ways to make it for fans, it's never been more exciting to me personally, because the people who consume football, it's obviously massive, but it continues to evolve. I mean, personally, I've been so thrilled with the constant growth of female football fans. Guess we have Taylor Swift to thank in part for that. But we were talking earlier about all these fans want different things, and I think there's this assumption that maybe female fans are coming to you for the human interest story. Nah. They are watching the most hardcore football talk, coming up to me, asking questions. They are the craziest fantasy players, which is another element we haven't even got into, right? That I've come across. And I personally find that really thrilling. It's obvious, I guess, to say, but somebody like me was not a football analyst 10 years ago. And I think in 10 years, it's just going to be completely normalized. I'm excited for more women to be talking about football on our network, in our sport broadly. So that thrills me, because when I think about making things for those fans and connecting with them, it motivates me and makes me excited for the future of our sport.
And that next generation that I talked about is multicultural. It is young kids. It's a lot. We also, to throw out here, I feel like I'm doing a little promo here, but as part of our corporate responsibility work, we're also have launched something called Take Back Sports, where it's very important to us to get kids back into play and back into sports. Kids are dropping out at a young age, and that's not good for our business, but it's also not good for kids. Kids learn sports through leadership and through all kinds of different things. Right. And so I would just say that that's extremely important too. We want to hit this generation. We want to hit this multicultural audience and women and all different segments, and we're excited about it.
And I'm sure the enhanced app is going to be a big driver for that. So we're excited about that on the horizon as well. Well, thank you both, ladies. It's been amazing to hear about all the exciting things on the horizon and things that you guys have got going on. So we really appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Fun.
And one last thing, as a journalist, I have to make a correction. She was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and not Jeopardy.
I was on Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, you were on Jeopardy too?
Yeah. Doing the rounds, the game shows.
I feel really low.
Multi-talented,
So look it up. Pretty amazing. Her friend won $1 million.
He did, and I was his phone a friend, yeah.
Yes.
And you got the right answer?
Yeah.
Good friend to have.
Fortunately.
Fortunately.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you guys.